Okay, I'm gonna get a couple things set up and just let everyone know that I'm doing this. Let's see here. Sorry for a minute, I'm just finishing setting up some stuff. Doo -doo -doo. Okay. Alright, well, let's get this started. Hello, my name is Lakobi, and I'm going to be starting my first ever live stream of Pathfinder Kingmaker. Now, I've played through the game a couple times, not to completion, so I'm hoping by making myself live stream it, I will actually be able to finish this goddamn game. So, let's do this. I will be watching chat on my phone. So, if you guys say things, I will see it there once I figure out how to do that. Okay. Turn that down.
Insurance rates are probably gonna double.
Ah, the game is louder than me? That's what I thought. Okay, hang on for a second. Okay, how does that sound now? Nice, we did it. Okay. We did it, Reddit. Alright. I'm currently in character creation. If I'm being honest, character creation for this game wasn't hugely, like, detailed. This is no, like, Skyrim. Or anything like that. Not that I really expected much out of a really basic CRPG, but I know more modern times, like, a more detailed character creator would be cool. But anyway, let's do that for my horn color. Let's pick that for my hairstyle. Okay, I'm going to be playing a chaotic good tiefling alchemist. I will be playing the grenadier class, which will have me focus on my bombs. Let's reverse that. There we go. And yeah, so the Alchemist class in Pathfinder 1st edition, since 2nd edition will be coming out soon, in 1st edition, alchemists get access to a lot of alchemical items and such to use, one of the big things they create are actual alchemical bombs that they throw at their enemies. There's a couple other playstyles, such as Vivisectionist, which focuses on melee and using mutagens to increase your physical stats and such. Chirurgeon, which I believe is for like healing and such. And of course, Base Alchemist, which is more generalized. But Grenadier specifically gets items used for ranged combat, which I am going to be focusing on. Since I am a tiefling, I get to pick which tiefling I am. And while there are some specific ones, what's the other dex one? I forget. No, but it's a penalty to wisdom. But bonus and trickery and persuasion. And yeah, let's do it. Why not? I'm gonna have a terrible wisdom will saving throw. Actually, I can just bump that up. And let's see. I want perception, persuasion, trickery. Knowledge Arcana, Knowledge World. Okay, let's do that. And of course for feat tax, my first two need to be point blank shot, and at level 3 I'll be taking precise shot. Alright, for my starting spells, grab Cure, Bomber's Eye, Shield, Targeted Bomb, True Strike, Reduce Person, and Enlarge Person, just in case.
You should have run. The road calls me. I'll take the bait.
Contemplate on your mistakes. I'm wounded. Strike with all your might.
I feel faint.
None shall escape.
An expected outcome.
Always confident.
A mere flesh wound. A trivial task.
It's always my favorite. Let's have her just be born when I was born. Yeah, 12/24, December 24th. Got it good.
I'll take care of it.
Yep, they get starting mutagens, which increase their physical stats, but give them a penalty to their mental stats. So, for example, if I drink the Dexterity mutagen, I get a +4 to Dex, and a bonus to my natural armor, but a penalty to my Wisdom. They last about 10 minutes per level. I am recording this, so I will be saving these and maybe uploading them on YouTube at some point. I should probably lead the tips, but whatever.
Our story started at the mansion of an Aldori sword lord. Drawn by the promise of a most dangerous task and a commensurately huge reward, heroes of all stripes gathered here.
I'm gonna let all the dialogue play out, and I'm also gonna read some of the unique dialogue that they give you. They give you a lot of hoverovers in case you're unfamiliar with the world of Pathfinder, and I'll read those out loud for you guys so that you too can follow along and learn with us.
Where are they? This is taking forever. It didn't even say what this was for, just that the Aldori were looking for heroes. Who are the Aldori anyway? Rich folk?
So, fun fact about this character, Amiri. Well, she's a barbarian, but she is actually one of the iconic characters from the Pathfinder game. Most of the characters in this game are original. Well, for your companions are original. Obviously, the other characters exist as Pathfinder Kingmaker is based on the Kingmaker adventure path for the Pathfinder tabletop game. Amiri is one of the few Paizo characters who are actually your companion. She is the iconic character for the Barbarian class.
If you can't be patient, no one's keeping you here. Just go back to your mountains or whatever hole you crawled out of. The Aldori Sword Lords run the premier school for the dueling arts. They're also the richest and most influential group in this part of Brevoy. Take that tone with them, and they'll teach you some manners pretty quickly.
Alright, so here's our first hover over text. Like I said, I'd be reading these. This one is about the Aldori Sword Lords. The Aldori Sword Lords arose when famed swordsman Baron Syrian Aldori agreed to train a select group of pupils in his dueling techniques. They ruled Rosland for generations, each as prickly and impulsive as the Order's founder. Though they are considered some of the finest sword fighters in the Inner Sea region, they are also obsessed with personal standing and honor. And the other one is about the country of Brevoy. Brevoy is a relatively young nation, having only existed since 4499 AR. The history of Brevoy this time is the history of two often warring nations, Isia and Rostland. The coming of Coral the Conqueror changed all this. After securing the defeat and surrender of the two nations, Coral christened his family House Rogarvia. Its rule ended with the mysterious disappearance of every member of House Rogarvia in 4699 AR, leaving Brevoy in a precarious political position.
All right, you purple toad, just shut your trap. And if you can't, I'll help you.
Hush! Quiet! They're coming.
Yeah. So this is basically all of the intro / tutorial. If I had tutorials
Greetings, everyone. I am Sword Lord Jamandi Aldori, and this is Lord Mayor Yosef Selimius of Restov. Welcome to my mansion.
So yeah, like I don't want to actually talk over some of the voice acting to let you guys hear it if it's actually hearable. If not, I'll change that for future streams. I just wanted to make sure that I was heard over it. But yeah, this is all like the intro. This is the tutorial. If I actually had the tutorial messages popping up, it'd be teaching you a lot about how to play. So our new text is about Restov, which is the city we're actually in right now. Restov is one of the two largest cities in the fertile region of Rosland, in southern Brevoy. Lord Mayor Yosef Selimis leads the city, which is a trade and cultural center that borders the river kingdoms, the Shrike River, and the Stolen Lands. As the birthplace of the Aldori dueling style, the city boasts several Aldori and Taldan dueling schools, which has led to the city being favored place for young nobles to practice dueling championships. Most prominent among them is the Aldori Academy, widely regarded as the region's finest war college.
We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for responding to our call. You may be few, but that's unavoidable. We need only the best of the best for this task. And I see true heroes before me, strong and fearless, exactly what Restov needs.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Now, to the point. South of here, just beyond Brevoy's border, lies a region known as the Stolen Lands. This is disputed territory, and while it's long been claimed by nearby states, it's never been truly taken. I won't bore you with the legal technicalities. Suffice to say that anyone with enough courage and power to seize the Stolen Lands and name themselves Baron or Baroness, claiming dominion, well, none of the neighboring states would be able to challenge it. Of course, Restov would be first to recognize the legitimacy of this new state. as well as the noble title of its founder.
Okay. So the new dialogue is about the Stolen Lands. The Stolen Lands are an almost wholly unsettled region in the northeastern section of the River Kingdoms, bordering the nation of Bravoy, and serving as a buffer between Bravoy and the River Kingdoms. Traditionally the haunt of bandits and monstrous humanoids, the Stolen Lands are regarded as stolen by all nations along their border, even though none have ever been able to keep these realms under their control for long. Basically, this is a section of territory between the kingdoms, and everyone's sort of owned it at some point, but no one's been able to keep it for some strange, mysterious reason. Ooh. Anyway.
Unfortunately, one serious obstacle stands between you and this title. A gang of bandits holds sway in the Stolen Lands. Their chief, who they call the Stag Lord, considers himself the rightful owner of these lands, and no one has yet been able to challenge his power. Bring me his head, and you'll be able to return to the Stolen Lands as their legal ruler. Any questions?
I'll read these options out loud too, so that you know what my character's selecting in case you can't really see it. There's a whole team of us. Who exactly will receive the Baron's title?
I will, of course. I'm the leader of this team, after all. Don't worry, though. I'll make it worth your while to help me.
Shut up, Tartuccio.
We haven't yet begun, and you already speak of divvying rewards. What makes you think we'll even succeed? There's little point arguing over who gains the title when we'll most likely lose our lives there.
If I may please answer the question. We believe you're all equally deserving of a noble title. Over the course of your expedition, it will be up to you as a team to decide which of you is best suited to rule.
Option 2. Why not just recognize the Stag Lord as Baron?
That's a good point. As I see it, this Stag Lord already holds power over the region with confidence. Many noble bloodlines were started by bandits who just got lucky, weren't they?
Perhaps because we do have standards to maintain. This room has seen many celebrations of adventurers, and even those who just got lucky. But giving a noble title to a bandit lord? That's one thing that's never happened here, and it won't while I still breathe.
You're helping us found a barony? What do you gain from such generosity?
Don't ask stupid questions. Why should you even care? What they have to gain and why, that's for Lady Aldori and I to discuss. It's none of your concern. Your only concern is to swing your sword around, or whatever it is you do.
Of course, we stand to benefit from this enterprise. But if you're concerned that we intend to rule your country from afar, using you as a front, well, please know that these concerns are unfounded. Let's just say that we have a strong interest in the region's stability. We have need of a ruling power we can negotiate with, not bandit gangs and monster hordes.
What is that smell in the air? Is it the smell of unspoken words and political intrigue?
Number 4. What rewards can we expect exactly?
And what reward would you seek beyond a noble title and your own lands?
We'll absorb the costs of preparing and equipping your expeditions. Once you return victorious, Restov will also allocate you a significant sum to provide financial support for you to establish your country. Essentially, we'll help you build your capital. I hope such a reward is satisfactory.
Words, words, words. Significant, financial. I can't fill my belly with pretty words.
Of course. There will also be an official banquet held in your honor. All of Rostov's high society will gather to celebrate your feat.
Now you're talking.
It's clear as day.
Excellent. You venture forth tomorrow. For now, you can take some time to get to know one another better. Or you can head straight to your guest rooms to get some rest. You'll find we've already prepared supplies for you there. And thank you again for agreeing to take part in this expedition. I wish you luck.
Thank you again, with all my heart, for replying to this call. The flare in your eyes reveals your courage, the unshakable will that distinguishes true heroes. I look at you, O champions of Restov, and doubt not for a second that you'll be victorious. So venture forth toward your feet, go, and return in triumph.
Hi, my name's Lindsay. I'm a bard, though this is my first real adventure. So, shall we go teach this stag lord a lesson?
So, this girl right here, Lindsay, is the actual writer of your quest journal. So you've got some options here. We sure will. Just wait. We've got plenty of great feats in store.
I have no doubt. Kind of related, I wanted to ask you something. How do you feel about this Tartuccio fellow? I think he's pretty obnoxious personally.
Agreed.
He appointed himself head of the team, and he's just after the Baron's crown, or whatever it is barons wear. Doesn't matter. I don't like him. I think you should be team leader. When I first saw you, I couldn't help but think, now here's a real hero. Someone who'll be praised in poems and songs. This is the person I'll write my book about.
Wait, a book?
Damn, I should have led with that. Please, just let me explain. You know what the trouble with most heroes' biographies is? They're always written years later, based on the tales of, best case, people who saw things from the outside. Worst case, someone heard about it from their brother, who heard it from their friend, who heard it from their cousin, and so on, adding a new batch of lies each time. Every time I read about a heroic journey, I think to myself, why didn't they just bring a bard with them to write it all down properly? And then I thought, I could be that bard. I just needed to find a suitable hero and volunteer to follow along on their glorious adventure. A great plan, huh? And here we are, with a heroic journey lying before us. Who's going to be the hero? Some dwarf who keeps muttering about how we'll all die? Or maybe that horrific scythe lady? Or, God's forbid, Tartuccio? No way.
Not a bad plan. It's settled then. I'll accomplish the feats, and you'll write them down.
Deal. All right. I'm going to my room to write about tonight. See you in the morning.
Alright, just gonna set up my action bars real quick. I turned off auto putting things on my action bars, because there are things that I just don't need. I need a touch spell, because I'm a ranged character. Mutagen dexterity is probably the only one I can use out of the mutagens. Let's see, I've got my crossbow equipped. I don't need this spear. Okay, that should be good.
I'm there.
You can talk to some of these characters. They don't have particularly interesting things to say here. I'll save that in case you ever want to get the game yourself and check it out. They mostly just slightly comment on, like, the events.
Help! Help!
Oh, here we go. What's going on?
The mansion's under attack. We need to help. Some villains broke in and started killing everyone. I barely made it. Hurry, we have to help the guards fight off the attackers or we'll all be cut down one by one.
You're not going anywhere.
Their life ends here.
I'm just gonna throw a bomb at you. Alright. so combat in this game is handled through real-time with pause. If you've ever played Baldur's Gate, you'll know exactly how it works. And
It's
considering
time to act.
Baldur's Gate was based off Dungeons and Dragons, and Pathfinder is based on Dungeons and Dragons as well, you'll find that the
I
game
do
system
what
is
I
actually
must.
pretty familiar at base. Maybe on one of these streams I'll actually sit down and read a bunch of the books you get, which give you, like, little story things, but I'm probably not going to do that today. I forgot how much it sucks carrying
I'm
things
off.
around with no strength. Look at them running. Get them. What shall we do with this one? We'll finish him later. You won't get
a
away.
test of my abilities. This will hurt.
And
You're just in time.
Low-level
A bit
combat.
longer and I'd have been... Whew, I don't even want to think about it. Can you imagine what a terrible loss this would have been? But it's all right now. I'm safe, sound, and unscathed, ready to lead you to victory. Lady Jamandi's holding the line in the banquet hall. You know, the one where she had us gathered before. We need to make our way to her. And along the way, we'll try to save some of these dummies who are supposed to accompany us to the Stolen Lands. Speaking of dummies, take this ring. Quiet now, so that little fool doesn't hear us. She might try to steal it herself. It's magical. It'll protect you. You'll need it while you work to defend me.
yeah. Okay, Tartuccio.
I'm there.
So he gave us a ring. And it is in fact a +1 ring of protection, which will increase your AC by 1. So we'll go ahead and equip that, because that's pretty useful.
In due time. We should move. This will be quick.
Serves you right.
I don't want to waste all of my bombs on some of these low-level fucking critical hit. Okay. Forgot to move Lindsay's spells down. Don't need any of the level 1 spells on. Let's move her bardic ability here. I'll explain what Lindsay does in just a second. So, Lindsay is a halfling bard. Bards are sort of like a support class in Pathfinder 1st Edition, and Lindsay is built to support. Her primary ability that she has is Inspire Courage. When she uses it, she basically starts... A bard basically starts singing or playing a musical instrument. And it gives you a bonus to saving throws against Charm and Fear, and a bonus to weapon attack and damage rolls, and it scales up every so often. I believe it's, what is it? At 5th level and every 6 levels after, it increases by 1. As a character, she's got low strength, decent dexterity, decent charisma, some decent int for her skills, and some constitution to ensure she doesn't explode instantly. The other thing bards get is they actually get bonuses to their lore skills and their knowledge checks. Bardic knowledge. To all knowledge and lore skill checks. You may make all knowledge and lore skill checks untrained. This sort of means at the start of the game she's not going to be better than some of your more dedicated characters at those abilities, but as the game goes on, she's going to be your best character for any kind of knowledge or lore checks, so long as you put some points in those abilities. And right now she doesn't have too much. Bards do get some spell casting, which I used all of that up. It's spontaneous. So how spontaneous casting works is you know a limited amount of spells, and you can cast spells of that level that you know a certain number of times. So she had 2 spell casts for today, and I used all of them to heal myself back up. I can't believe it, that could have been us. Well, their adventures have certainly come to an end. Oh no, is everyone dead? Pathetic, they couldn't even defend themselves, but they thought they could conquer the stolen lands. Shut up, Tartuccio. Anyway, yeah, pretty much a lot of people have died.
Follow if you dare.
Since the assassins came in. Just pick up some fish, whatever's there. Miss anything? I don't think that's supposed to be there. Anyway.
It's the end for you rats!
Can you make an epic pose? I need inspiration. And then our leader charged forward.
Okay,
Hey, wait
thanks,
for me.
game. Just kick me out of combat like that.
Oh, it's you. Stay up from under my feet or I'll strike you down. Blood for Gorum!
And to read this. Gorum, also known as our Lord in Iron, is a god of battle above all other pursuits. It is said that he would rust away into nothingness if there is ever a time with no more conflicts to be fought. His faithful believe that he is present in every iron weapon of war that is forged. So, Gorum's one of the gods of the Pathfinder universe.
I think that's exactly how heroes should be.
Yeah, because you're a lesbian.
What, stupid, sweaty, and always looking for something to gobble up or lop the head off of? Calistria, save me from such heroes.
And our second god, or goddess in this case, Calistria, also known as the Sacred Sting and the Unquenchable Fire, is the goddess of lust and revenge who takes on many faces and guises. She is held in especially high regard by elves, who often identify with her mercurial mood and changeable nature. A fondness for wasps has earned this vengeful deity the title of Sacred Sting. Such creatures live on after harming their enemies, a trait Calistria's followers hope to emulate when pursuing their goals. There, you learned something today. This is an educational channel. There they are, the assassins! This is your last chance. Drop your weapons and we'll spare your lives. So generous? I'm afraid I can't offer you the same courtesy. Hey, you ugly mug, get them! What in hell's name is that? Well, they're all dead. Good thing you weren't noticed. Time to loot the dead. Let's leave.
I'm there.
You can't leave.
I am never wrong. I do what I must.
Alright. So yeah, they destroyed the pathway through, so we've got to go around. So you're gonna see a couple of these checks pop up.
That
The best
was
character
easy.
at them will do them, and you'll go through.
You should have run.
You're but a footnote in our story.
Oh, come on, don't fall out of combat. There we go. So yeah. This is the other thing they have you do. So the door is locked, we can't get through. But we can unlock
A
this
trivial
door.
task.
And we can grab some items from the armory. Which gives us the key. But what's this?
What have we here? This chest is full of gold. I guess it's for the guards' salaries, all things considered. Well, those freeloaders don't seem to have been working too hard for it. Maybe we should pocket it instead.
What? No, we're heroes, not thieves.
Who said we were stealing it? We'll just take the gold for safety so the assassins don't get it. And then we can heroically return it to Jamandi when this is all over.
Gold? Interesting. How much?
A lot. Take a look.
Are you out of your minds? We're in the middle of a battle. Blood flowing in rivers as an army of assassins chases us. And you want us to rob our host? A noble feat, to be sure.
Lindsay. So yeah. I'm gonna take the gold.
In due time.
Yeah, Tartuccio is so legit. He's totally a trustworthy companion who I would, you know, definitely trust with my life.
Oh, familiar faces. I hope you're not so frightened as to swing at every shadow. It's me, Jathal. I don't recommend advancing down the hallway, assuming you value your life, of course. There were a few people with me, and you can see what happened to them.
And just how did they all end up dead while you don't seem to have a scratch?
I'll answer but briefly and just once. Further scares and explanations will wait until we aren't being hunted by a group of assassins. Deal? All right. I'm undead. These traps are deadly to the living, but they're harmless to me.
Yep. So, Jathal is a undead inquisitor.
What do you mean undead? Really? Like zombies or skeletons or...
As I said, further explanations will wait until later.
Lindsay, calm down.
All you need to know right now is that we're on the same side, and we have to fight off a small army of hired assassins. Let's get to it.
Okay, so now Jathal joins you. Jathal is a inquisitor. They're a divine class, so they're a bit of a hybrid between caster and combat. She's built for melee, and you notice, because she's undead, she doesn't have a constitution stat, which undead do not have. They instead use charisma as their stat. Excuse me. She's wielding a scythe, which, to be honest, isn't the greatest weapon in the world, but its big advantage is it's got a massive critical multiplier. It deals ×4 damage whenever you crit, though you only crit on a natural 20. Inquisitors are also spontaneous casters, and because she's undead, you can't actually heal her with divine healing. You have to heal her with inflict damage spells, which deal negative energy. The other way that she can heal is that Inquisitors get more
You
later
have
on.
my
What the
attention.
fuck are you going?
My patience is
Just
running
let it
thin.
be.
I should probably turn on
don't
the
tolerate
mature
fools.
channel because I swear or something.
Ask.
I'll probably do that after. Yeah. Inquisitors get judgments. They can activate this in combat once per day and a couple more times as they level up. Judgment allows them to give a buff that lasts the entire combat. There's no timer on it, it just drops off when combat ends. So the only other way to heal her, other than inflict spells, is she actually has a judgment healing ability. They've got a whole bunch of other ones, like one that increases your weapon damage, one that increases your weapon attack rolls, one that increases like checks to bypass spell resistance, one that allows you to bypass some kinds of DR, you know, a whole bunch of stuff. Some are less useful than others.
A trivial task.
But yeah, she'll get more
That was
abilities as
easy.
she levels up, and I'll go over some of those for those classes when they get them.
A trivial task.
Oh, just to go over what I got actually at level 1, because I don't think I went over that in too much detail. At level 1 I get bombs and mutagens, and proficiencies with light armor and simple weapons. Swap that around. And if I recall correctly...
Follow if you dare.
What are you dallying for? I'm telling you, Jamondi's cache has to be here somewhere. Well, hurry it up before... Stop! Samwin's
Their
coming!
life ends here.
Sure is a good thing that we have Jathal now, because now we finally have a melee character to...
This strike, my masterpiece.
What did you say about a cache? Curious. Alright, so here's the game's first, like, puzzle.
I'll take care of it.
So
I do what I
one
must.
character into
State
this
your
room.
desire. I will grant your request.
You can get the gold out of these chests. Now this puzzle,
I'm always ready.
I think I remember how to do it.
My skills are absolute.
Share your will.
It's not that one. It's that one.
It's time to act. I am never wrong.
Oh wait, yeah. Then
Request.
I do that. Okay.
You have my attention.
So you gotta get all the swords pointing down. The swords. 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 And you can get this stuff. But hey, wait a minute. What if you get all the swords pointing up?
We should move.
Which one was it? Okay, so...
Speak.
that.
I'll take care of it.
There we go.
Ask.
There's something they added to this room, so I'm moving all my characters up. But anyway,
My skills are absolute.
that
Share
unlocks
your
the
will.
northern room. There's a little surprise in here that I'm aware of. So let's take all these items. Get that. Get that. Get that. And if you walk too close to this chair,
I need inspiration.
it turns into an ooze. They're not particularly dangerous enemies. Ooze's big thing is they've got a lot of health, but they're really easy to hit. I'm also playing in a lower difficulty setting, so I believe that enemies have some of their stats, like, change, like damage reduction and such. Let me just double check that real quick. Okay, so I put it on normal enemies. But I adjusted their difficulty checks to lower. Let me just make sure of one other thing. So that's all. Yeah, they added a lot of stuff since the game that came out for the first time. we have here?
Ah! Everything is so much fun with a little fire. What a night, huh? I thought I was all alone. It's good you're here. A bit boring, chasing fool assassins without anyone watching the show.
This character right here, KSE, is a character. Hang on. They actually added with DLC. She's not actually in the original game. Shut up, Harem. We'll get to you.
It's not fun at all. Many people have died for nothing.
I don't think we've met.
I am Kayesi, one of the many here who seek a better fate, answering the call of Lady Jamandi. But unlike the others, I never dropped my guard, day or night. It's why I'm still alive.
There are assassins on the prowl. We have to go.
I don't know where you're headed, but I'll be at the entrance to the main hall. I think I saw some guards there. Join me there, if you wish.
More corpses on the floor here. It's not easy to wash out blood, you know. Thanks. Anyway, I'm just gonna walk over here and talk to Aaron.
Grotus, I can sense your silhouette hovering over me. It won't be much longer. Soon we shall meet, O Lord of Oblivion.
So, this is our first introduction to Harem. Well, we did see him at the party. And he is a actual cleric, so he worships his god. The god Grotus. Grotus is the god of the end times, a sentient and cruel moonlet that looks down upon the boneyard, and waits for the last living soul to die. When Pharasma judges the last soul after the last living body dies in the material plane, Grotus will descend to the boneyard and move on to the material plane to clean up and pack the dust away for another reality. No one really knows what Grotus is going to do once the last soul is judged, but it is generally accepted that it will not be pleasant. What's wrong?
I'm dying. I knew this expedition was doomed. Oh, Grotus, my vision darkens.
Diplomacy check, 15. Aren't you being a bit premature? Look at yourself. You've barely got a scratch.
That's impossible. Oh, it seems you might be right.
Okay, so Harem's very dramatic about everything. Everything is doom, gloom, the world's coming to an end, I'm dying, it's all over. It's just what he's like.
Yeah, it seems I will live. I suppose I must postpone meeting my god, not for long, I'm sure. But while we remain in this transient world, Aaron is at your service.
So, Harem is a cleric. Clerics, unlike wizards and sorcerers, actually do get a decent amount of attack bonuses. Not as much as true martial characters, but it means that Harem can actually be pretty an effective combatant. You can see from his stats, he's got really good wisdom, which is the primary stat of a cleric. Decent constitution, middling strength. His big weakness is that absolutely god-awful dexterity. While I believe... Yes, he does start off with proficiency in heavy armor, so you can in fact give him that. Which he'll need, because his dexterity is god-awful. But he's not a bad character to have around. I find him to be the weakest of the companions. His low dexterity means touch attacks that hit your touch AC, are going to hit him almost universally. And we get a better tank character later on. And he's also not as good as support as another character we'll get much later on. But he's like a decent hybrid between a support and a tank if you're missing both of them. Comes with Blast, Bane, True Strike. And
Yes,
his
I'm
destruction
still here.
domain. Let me just put some of these spells down. His destruction domain gives him an ability that actually increases the damage of his melee attacks. So if he does hit in melee combat, he will hurt. And something they added, originally, even though in the artwork he's portrayed with a one-handed flail and shield, he originally didn't have proficiency in one-handed flails. He only had proficiency in heavy flails, which are two-handed. So I'm glad they finally added that so that he actually matches his artwork. Just, I love how it sort of like wobbles around. Can I get it to stand up again? Haha. Perfect. But yeah, we can give him heavy armor. I'm not going to because I'm not going to be taking him as my primary companion. There's a couple options later on. While I am going to select the lawful option, it gives me a different even though my character's chaotic, it'll give me a different option. But basically, if you select good, Lindsay, for following future... you know what? I'll just talk about those when I get there. Let's not talk about them now. Let's loot some bodies. Take some stuff.
I'm there.
Something out there.
So yeah, if you ever started off using longswords, you can find a masterwork longsword in that secret area. So that can help you out at the start of a game. Let's move here to the front.
You, run and get an axe. You, bring more water. You, stay here and hold our defense. Those assassins are still around here somewhere.
Here's our first intro to Keston Garrus.
Aha! Some of our guests survived. Good. You need to get to the banquet hall and help Lady Jamandi.
Who are you?
Keston, House Garrus, a fighter in the service of Sword Lord Jamandi Aldori. Right now, I'm in charge of the mansion guards. As you can see, there's a lot to do.
If I were a rich and influential lady like Jamandi, I'd also get myself a manly captain of the guard. Or two.
Calm down.
Someone opened the gate, let in a group
What's
of assassins
here?
in the middle of the night. Now they've set the mansion on fire to cut off access to the hall. They don't want Lady Jamandi to get reinforcements. We cleared the passage so you can get through. Just try to avoid inhaling the smoke. We'll be right behind you. We just need to put out the fire first to save the mansion.
Considering Lady Jamandi's fate, I'm not surprised that a whole pack of assassins were unleashed on her, including a giant. But what's at stake? What could anyone hope to gain?
So, because she was added, her dialogue feels a little bit obviously tacked on here, because nobody really reacts to her. Anyway, do you need any help putting out the fire?
No, we'll manage. I've got my best people here, those who still live. Your place is by Lady Aldori's side.
It doesn't seem right. What if some of the guards are wounded? We need to help them.
Where's the hall?
You'll have to run through the fire. We've almost put it out at the entrance, so your main concern should be to not inhale any smoke. Hold your breath and take the first right, then head straight down the hallway.
I'll go immediately.
Fire doesn't frighten me, thanks to hell's blood running in my veins. I'll go ahead and wait for you on the other side. Catch up!
May Abadar keep you safe.
And, here's our next god, Abadar. Abadar, the god of cities, law, merchants, and wealth, also called the god of walls and ditches. In the Eastern Dragon Empires, is known to be a patient deity, maintaining a strong neutral stance in his actions. He set forth to expand civilization and order among the peoples of Galarion. So he's a centrist. I'm hilarious. Anyway. So here we get our first storybook scene. These pop up occasionally. Um, and basically you go through a series of text dialogues. Yeah, what are you, the god of ditches? But anyway, so yeah, this is, you get these storybook scenes, and, you go through them, and they sort of, like, have, like, a bunch of skill checks or choose your own adventure options. And so our adventure started, earlier and much more tragic than we'd expected. The whole team who'd gathered in the hall yesterday had been reduced to but a handful of brave souls, led by Izana, and not at all by that scoundrel Tartuccio, no matter what he might have imagined of himself. Jamandi Eldori was waiting for us, but to get to her, we'd have to march through the fire. Literally, as we approached the burning building, So, tips here. If you try and do all three options, you'll waste too much time, and the entrance will collapse upon you, dealing damage. So don't do that, but I like to select drenched ourselves in a bucket of water. Prudence is key to victory. Before moving through the fire, we thoroughly wet our clothes and hair, and after that, we covered our noses and mouths before we rushed inside. It was a good thing we hadn't wasted any time. After entering the building, and just taking just a few steps forward, the wall behind us slanted and crashed down with a terrible crackling sound, blocking the way back. While we might not have planned on going back, if we had come in a little later, the flaming logs and red hot bricks would have fallen right on our heads. Regardless, we were left with only one way to go. The hot air burned our lungs, and our eyes watered from the smoke, but Izana led us stubbornly through the flames, while Tartuccio did nothing useful at all. We'd made it to the hallway leading to the banquet hall when heard someone calling for us. It was Valerie, one of the guards I chatted with a bit in the banquet hall. Even then, in that calm setting, I'd been stunned by her beauty. But now, amid the smoke and flames, she looked like a celestial avenger, an armored deity, menacing, but beautiful and merciful, descending from the higher spheres to help us poor mortals. She held a burned, barely living guard in her arms. "There are 2 more," she shouted as she passed by us. "They are wounded. Help me pull them out." Tartuccio grumbled something about how Jamandi was waiting for us. Meanwhile, Izana... And so here we make our skill checks. Hopefully I pass this. Rush to save the guards from the fire. Athletics 9. Oops. I failed it because I rolled like shit. Saving the poor fellows was harder than it had seemed. We inhaled a lot of smoke and burned ourselves more than once before managing to pull them from the fire. Only then did Valerie pause to catch her breath and wipe the sweat from her face. "Thank you, that was truly noble of you," she said. "And now, let us rush towards Lady Aldori's aid." Ensuring the guards we'd rescued were relatively safe, we made our way to the hall, where the battle was already in full swing. So that damages my whole party. Okay. So,
Patience.
the other thing clerics can do is they can channel energy. You need to channel positive or negative. Let's
State
do that.
your desire.
Let's have her heal herself. Because she can't be healed by Harem. Remember, Lindsay is the writer of the book, so whenever you read those storybook things or any of your quest journal entries, it's always Lindsay. Reinforcements are already on the way. Say your prayers, scum. No, right. Help us arrive, quick, we need to save Lady Jamandi.
Oh,
I'm gonna cast some spells here.
Request. Lindsay the Magnificent? Lindsay the Illustrious? Something more fraught. Like Lindsay the Great? Can you make an epic
Let's enter
pose?
combat.
I need inspiration. Be indecisive.
Let's put healing on because she took some damage. And just sort of let everyone wander forward. We're gonna have Tartuccio cast some of his spells. I'm going to use some bombs. Yeah, the neat thing about bombs is they deal AoE damage. And being a grenadier, I don't have to worry about hurting my allies with it. Or I shouldn't. Do I only get that at level 2? Yes, I only get that at level 2. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead. No, everyone's just gonna die. Oh yeah, and Amiri and KSE join you for this fight. Gonna loot everything. Forget if there's anything neat in that stuff that I want to equip immediately to my characters. There isn't. And let's talk to Jamandi. Yeah, so that guy in the... Well,
Thank you for your valor and bravery. The enemy was strong, but you were stronger. And that means I made the right choice. Just as I thought, there were worthy leaders among you. I'm especially grateful to them for the courage and common sense they showed while defending the mansion. But this attack means we have even less time than I thought. Someone already knows of our plans and is acting against us. You'll begin your expedition immediately.
So that fight we just thought, the main bandit leader used to cast Mass Fear on your party, which in the most unlucky scenarios meant your entire group spent like a minute or two doing nothing but running around in fear. They changed that, so yeah.
Lady Aldori, please, I know who arranged this attack. The vile king of Pitax, Iroveti. What's more, I know who among us works for him. Hey, you! Show everyone the ring you're wearing. You think I wouldn't recognize Iroveti's seal? That's why she wasn't killed. The bandits recognized her as one of their own by this signet ring.
This is where Tarduccio gives himself away. He gave you that ring. I've never actually selected attack liar, but I'm assuming you get stopped. So my diplomacy check actually really sucks at the moment. I only have a +1. So it's gonna be a pain to pass these diplomacy checks, but I already passed my knowledge world check, so I can get past that. I have no connections to Pitax, but Tartuccio's name, accent, and clothes seem like he came straight from there. Which of us looks more like they might be Iroveti's spy?
Probably, yes. But this evidence is circumstantial at best. There's definitely a spy among us. But who? All I have is one word against another. I'm afraid you're both under suspicion.
They both came to your aid, Lady Jamandi. But a liar's cunning knows no bounds. I've never met these two or their companions. For all I know, they're all conspiring spies.
So yeah, if you notice, Cassie's eyes and voice have changed. I wonder what that means. Dun dun dun. You'll find out when we hit chapter 2.
How could you say that? We fought together. We literally went through fire together. And then you vanished into thin air. After you promised you'd wait.
My words might be rash.
I bet my life despises anyone but this woman. I saw how she dealt with those creeps with my own eyes. A true warrior. I'd go with her through hell and high water. This purple crook, on the other hand. He's got the eyes of a spy, and the mug of a spy!
Lady Aldori, don't listen to this thick-headed barbarian. She doesn't know what she's talking about. During the attack, our leader showed her true colors. She forced us to break into the armory and rob it. And not just that. Upon finding the guards' salaries in the armory, she immediately pocketed it all.
So even if you don't take the money, he still accuses you of breaking into the armory. So here's where your choices start to matter for the early campaign. These will determine what companions you pick. It gives you a lawful neutral option and a chaotic neutral option. Lawful neutral. We weren't trying to take the money. We just wanted to keep it away from the bandits. And chaotic neutral. So what if we did? The guards weren't able to handle their responsibilities, so we decided to teach them a lesson. So if you pick lawful neutral, you'll get Valerie. If you pick chaotic neutral, you'll get Harem. I want Valerie, so...
Any thief caught red-handed would say the same.
Yeah, I'm gonna fail all these skill checks.
That was a sound decision. Sometimes one must act at one's own risk and peril, until crossing the boundaries of what is allowed. Showing initiative is no crime.
So, regardless of whether you fail the check or not, your companions believe you, and thus react based on the alignment options you pick.
Well, of course, theft is not to be condoned. However, when the fire burns around you, and you are but one step away from death, is it not insane to worry about laws and rules?
What about that trick she pulled right before we came in here? She knew very well you were fighting the enemy, but instead of rushing to help you, she dallied as long as she could, dropping everything to save people from the fire, even though the guards were handling things just fine. She was obviously hoping to show up too late and find you already dead.
Really, Tartuccio? You're seriously trying to blame someone for saving people from a fire?
May Shellen spare me from ever having to make such a choice, but she behaved decently, as a true leader.
So, Lindsay worships Shellen. This is our next goddess. She's relevant to another character, too. Shellen, also known as the Eternal Rose, the Eternal Maiden, and the Incorruptible, is the goddess of art, beauty, love, and music, the half-sister of Zon Kuthan. Shellen focuses just as much attention on internal beauty as external. As aspects of her role as goddess of beauty, Shellen also promotes the creation of art and the composing and performance of music. Clerics of Shellen frequently are artists themselves. As the goddess of love, Shellen encourages the proliferation of that feeling in all of its forms. She is not the goddess of sexuality, lust, or fertility, and makes a very clear distinction between love and sexuality, though she does not in any way discourage erotic love. The few paladins who worship her practice courtly love.
A true leader is someone who has their priorities straight, not someone who would put a valuable ally's life in danger for the sake of some servant.
So, Jathal doesn't like it if you pick the good option. Lindsay doesn't like it if you pick the evil option. If you pick the evil option, Lindsay will actually travel with Tartuccio.
Enough squabbling. I'm still not sure which of you I can trust. However, the risk of entrusting the whole affair to a spy is too great. Here's what we'll do. 2 teams will head out. That way, I'll know at least one group can be counted on to serve my interests in the stolen lands.
Lady Aldori, most of those who were to set off for the stolen lands have been killed. Those who yet live will require help. Please allow me to join the expedition.
I'm sad to lose such a talented warrior. But you're right, Valerie. They have greater need of you right now. Go, and may Abadar keep you. Which of the 2 teams would you prefer to accompany?
If my leader allows, I would join her team. She seems a worthy commander in my eyes.
Yeah, so Valerie is saying that she wants to join me.
Commanders, military leaders, all these laws and rules are but dust and vanity. I suppose I will accompany Tartuccio.
Our leader is good in battle, but I don't like all the spiritual agonizing. I prefer those who can act without wasting time helping every little pipsqueak. Those like Tartuccio.
Spiritual agonizing is a great phrase.
Ugh, Tartuccio's going to take the credit for himself and be done with it. Shellen, spare me from such allies. I'm going with you. You're a hero worthy of my quill.
As for me, I know neither of these two. At least, not well enough. And I have no wish to become an unwitting pawn to an unworthy leader. If Lady Jamandi allows, I'll remain in Restov and help mend the wounds this attack has inflicted. But who knows? The road may bring me to the Stolen Lands, but not yet.
I don't even need to think. I'm coming with this woman. As for you, Purple Toad, just wait until we meet along the way. I'll be sure to hang your rotten spy guts from the trees.
And Amiri, being the Paizo iconic, always joins you no matter what. She will always be on your team.
All right, we have 2 teams. To avoid unnecessary conflict on the road, you'll each take a different route to the Stolen Lands. Tartuccio's team will go through Navakta's crossing. The garrison commandant will provide him all the help he needs. You will take your team to Oleg Leviton's trading post. He's been complaining about the Stag Lord's bandits for a while now. There, you'll be provided with all the necessary travel supplies.
Navakta's Crossing is a village at the southern edge of Rossland, protected by a wooden palisade wall surrounding it. The South Rossland Road runs through the village, as does the road leading to the newly established settlement of Farnhold, which has not actually happened yet. Great that they talked about that. This place is home to trappers, anglers, hunters, and tradesmen. The locals are a serious bunch and very suspicious of strangers, especially those from the Stolen Lands. And Oleg's, which we're heading to, this abandoned border fort at the southern end of Rossland found a new life recently. Oleg and Svetlana Levinton, a couple from Restov, built it into a trading post. This place is now one of the few hospitable shelters for travelers in the surrounding wilderness.
I'd like to believe you, but I know all too well how convincing traitors and spies can be. If you're truly innocent, I hope you can forgive me this precaution. While you're away, Keston will investigate the night's events and learn who in Restov is working for Patax. But you should know that it isn't just Patax we need to worry about. The Royal House of Sertova may also interfere in our plans. I've managed to keep this affair a secret from them so far, but that can't last long. By my estimations, you have no more than 3 months. After that, any feats you accomplish will be pointless.
Alright, so a couple more new places. Patax. Long a haven for thieves and smugglers, Patax is a hub for trade in the River Kingdoms. It aspires to be a center of culture and higher learning as well, but cannot escape its more unsavory origins. And Sertova, the other faction mentioned on Brevoy. House Sertova is the current ruling family of Brevoy, the oldest Brevik noble family and the most influential. Their original holdings are the environs of Port Ice in northern Isia, on the shores of Lake of Mists and Vales. The Sertovans are known as careful and cunning diplomats. Before Kural the Conqueror invaded, the Sertovans were known as pirates and raiders, and the family still has many connections with the pirates and brigands of the region, many of whom are distant relations of the Sertova clan. Their family motto is, "Ours is the right."
And now, farewell. This battle was but the first ordeal along your path, and you overcame it as true champions of Restov. May the obstacles that follow also fall to your feet. Fear nothing, my friends, and return victorious.
Surviving a terrible night, our small team set off to brave our fate. Beware, stolen lands. Heroes are on the way.
Yep. And then we begin. This is our map screen. Show location names.
Adventures can wait.
And then our
This is
leader
sort of
charged
all,
forwards.
again,
Hey, wait for me!
tutorial. Throw a bomb at this thing. Damage my party, and we're good. And I'm gonna start camping. So as you notice, my characters get fatigued as they travel around, and also holding too much stuff. Yeah, that all works.
Your sword is so amazing. I could never have imagined someone wielding such a huge blade.
Right? I took it from a frost giant as a trophy. I slaughtered so many of them giants with it. Now when they hear my name, they shit their pants.
I suck. Anyway, so now that everyone's all together, I need to get rid of some of this stuff. Drop, 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 right. Drop that. There we go. So, we finally picked up Valerie and Amiri. I'm going to go over their classes real quick. Valerie is a fighter. She is specifically of the archetype Tower Shield Specialist. So she uses Tower Shields in combat. She focuses on using Bastard Swords as well. And she makes an excellent tank, and I think one of the best tanks in the game. Unfortunately, her stats are a little lopsided in the wrong way. Her strength and dexterity are kind of low for, you know, somebody who's supposed to be a frontline fighter. Though you don't really need to boost them. The big issue is that her strength is so low. Like, her constitution's very high, which gives her a lot of hit points. But honestly speaking, it's not going to keep her up too much longer. What's going to mostly keep her up is not getting hit. So, this is, if you hear people complain about Valerie, this is what they're complaining about, is this low strength stat, especially since until you're, what is it, level 5, you take a penalty to all of your attack stats while wielding a tower shield. So, it kind of makes her inaccurate for the early game, but whatever. She functions in the early game, and once you pass level 5, she becomes fine. Amiri is a barbarian. She's got high strength and constitution. Her stats are pretty well balanced for a melee barbarian. The unique thing about her is her iconic ginormous bastard sword, which is an oversized weapon. So it does way more damage than a regular weapon, but imposes a penalty to her attack. She also is going to, in the early game, be your best hunter, and everything about her is really well distributed for her class and such. there are some characters that have much higher point buys that we'll get later on that end up as much more functional characters, but as far as her 20-point buy and stats go, her stat distribution is basically perfect. So yeah, those are those characters. If you saw me removing stuff earlier, I should equip this to Miri. Where is it? It's because I was holding too much shit, and I was unable to travel. So, if you have too much weight, you can't actually move on the map. So let's leave. As time passes, as you travel along the road.
We should gather our strength.
Yep.
Some food would be nice. And some booze. When I get to a tavern, I'll lock myself inside and won't come out until all the barrels are empty.
So once everyone becomes too fatigued, you need to hunt for food, camouflage your camp, and then you can also cook meals to provide bonuses for the next day. You can also set up guards so that people can keep a lookout and watch in case you do get attacked, even if your camouflage succeeds. And every time you sleep, you get various character conversations that just give you little interactions. Kind of neat. Of course there's a rainstorm. Rainstorms suck.
I'm there.
Save yourselves, fools! In the name of the Stag Lord, the lawful authority of the Stolen Lands, we demand this week's tax. And some beer. And where's that pretty wife of yours, Oleg? She should serve us dinner. Quiet down, dimwit. Oleg, we're just here for the Stag Lord's tax. Hand over the money and we'll be on our way. You want to drink some of my blood, too? I'm sick of you. You're like locusts. You think you can control everything around here just because you put up that painted rag of yours. You come here, squeeze us dry, and come Ah, you must be the guests from Rostov. So, there's a few options you can select. This is also one of your first alignment-specific locked encounters. If you're evil, I believe what it is that you can demand that he pay you the tax that they were going to collect. Because you're going to be ruling this place soon, and obviously that makes you very popular with Oleg. It doesn't. I'm going to select the neutral good option. Or I could just attack them. Actually, what's going on here? Isn't it obvious? These thugs are robbing us honest settlers. They say they're taking some tax for their leader, the Stag Lord. But I didn't swear allegiance to any Stag Lords. I pay my taxes to Rostov. But Rostov is so far away, Oleg, and the Stag Lord is so close. And as for you, get out of here before it's too late. This is our land. We own it. Our duty is to protect the trading post. Don't waste your breath on scum like this. Yeah, I'll select the neutral good option. I'm not interested in bloodshed, but I won't let you rob this man. Be on your way and I'll let you go in peace. Alright, we'll leave. But what makes you think we won't just return in greater numbers? Why would you leave when we've got easy pickings from Rostov before us? We'll rip out your guts and empty your pockets. Okay.
To victory!
Charge down.
Tear them apart!
I'm gonna move back and just whip a bomb at this guy. that's that.
Yes.
I think what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna level up and then probably call it a night so that you can see at least what leveling up looks like. So now I have precise bombs, so I can actually throw my bombs into melee and not affect my allies. I also get alchemical weapon. It's not incredibly useful. What I can basically use is I can use an alchemical item that I can buy, like an acid flask or a alchemist fire, and apply it to my weapon, which gives it a bonus for the next attack. But it's not honestly a lot of damage. Once it becomes a swift action or a free action, it becomes better, but I need to really keep a stock of alchemical items in order to use it that way. So it's just sort of like a supplementary thing to your actual bombs. I'm going to pick... I'm going to take explosive bombs. It's a direct increase to my damage. And I get another shot at increasing my skills. And I don't know, let's take Fire Belly. Valerie, we're gonna level her up as a fighter, and we're not gonna multi-class really anyone. I later on, because of her good charisma, like leveling her persuasion. You're gonna want to put perception on everyone. Just giving that extra chance to roll a perception check is always a good thing. And since I want her focusing on bastard swords, I'm gonna give her weapon focus. Lindsay levels up. She gets well versed. They become resistant to bardic performance of other bards and sonic effects as well. And they get a bard talent. So let's level this up. I want you to use perception, level up persuasion, level up trickery, and mobility. Why not? So bard talents, you get them every couple levels. So 2, 6, 10. So at second level and every 4 levels after. They're pretty limited compared to the actual tabletop game in what you can pick. Honestly, the best options to pick are the ones that it's either just skill focus or taking combat trick to get some combat related feats. I'm gonna take skill focus, trickery, just to make sure that I can't fail on opening some stuff. And I'm gonna give her hideous laughter.
I wrote it like I saw it.
Not gonna put it on the bar though. Okay. And Amiri is the last character. She levels up. She gets a rage power. They get rage powers every even level. Like you get a regular feat every odd level for all characters. And she also gets uncanny dodge, which makes it hard for her to be caught flat-footed. So let's level up these skills. And I like taking guarded stance on her. The game auto-picks lethal stance for her, but because lethal stance is a competence bonus, and it doesn't actually stack with Lindsay's, bardic, courage ability, but I believe it ends up at a higher number late game. Let me actually see. Lethal stance leads to deadly accuracy. That just helps with confirming criticals. critical multiplier increases. Okay. You know what? Let's go with that. There's also Reckless Stance, which does stack, but let's see here. Reckless Stance. Yeah, because it's a flat +1 bonus, but it reduces your AC, which is your armor class. Sorry if you didn't actually realize that. And you can apply it to everyone in your party as well. But that means your whole party is taking more damage. You know what? I'll take Lethal... Oh, you know what? I'll take Beast Totem first. Animal Fury, actually. Yeah, that's a good idea. So Animal Fury gives me a bite attack, which gives Amiri another attack to use while she's raging. Okay. And that'll be it for today. Next time when we come back, I'll be talking to Oleg and trying to do some other stuff. I'm going to save my game. Name file. Save. And thank you all for joining me today. I'll be keeping these saved on my computer and hopefully uploading them to YouTube if you weren't able to catch this live. I also selected on my Twitch to keep it stored for 14 days, so you guys can check that out. If you like what you see, give me a follow, because I need a bunch of followers in order to become an affiliate. Alright, thank you and have a wonderful day.